Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. Today, Kevin Samuels interviews another unruly modern woman. I have not seen this clip, so we will react to it together as I watch it. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it.
Those things were called collarbones. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. If you get on, you must be on the camera. You must be visible at all times. I'm not playing any games. Don't even try to worry about jumping on here. If you try to do that silly stuff, you'll just waste your time. Um, so to the people in the Zoom room, let's get it. Boop, 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 boop. I can't see you. What's your name in the call? Patience. Wave. Hi, patience. Wave. What is that? Okay. Do this real quick. Hello.
Hello,
Um, how old are you?
I'm 35.
All right. How many children do you have?
I have two,
All
16 and
right.
13.
So what did I get wrong?
Where'd you go wrong?
Hmm.
Um, I'm listening. I don't really. Mm, I don't know. I'm listening. I'm just taking it all in. I don't think you said anything wrong that I can't take into like consideration or think about later on.
Well, the question is, do you want to be married?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, and you got two kids.
Right.
How old is your oldest?
16,
How old is your youngest?
13.
Then why should somebody want to marry you with two kids?
Um,
That's the question I'm ultimately asking to all your single mothers. Why should a single man with no kids want to marry you? Why should they?
a single man with no kids. That's
Yeah.
rare.
What do you mean it's rare? 51% of black men are single and childless.
I don't.
51% of black men are single and childless.
Most of the men I know have kids.
51% of black men are single and childless.
I haven't bumped into the
51% of
51%.
black men are single and childless.
Right.
I'm not going to stop that because every time I say that, you guys want to go back to this. Well, I haven't seen that. That's not black men's fault. 51%, more than half, are single and childless.
Right.
So why should
So
a
why
single
would
so why should a single childless man want to marry a woman with children or marry you?
I don't think when I get married he's gonna be childless.
Okay. Well, why
I'm
should a
just gonna
man
get
with
married
kids
and have
want
some
to?
kids.
Okay, how about it can go the other way too? Why should a man with kids want to marry you when you got your kids? They already got theirs.
Um, I don't know, just growing up being around a bunch of my grandma had a lot of kids with my grandfather. So, I watched them raise them
Uh huh.
and
That's not telling me anything. That's not saying anything.
no,
See, what I'm hearing, ma'am, is you ain't thought about this. You say you want to be married, but have you thought about why a man should marry you?
I mean that's why I'm not married now because I don't think my mind is right for it right now. But I know I want to get married in the future, so I'm working on things.
Well, why do you want to get married in the future? Why do you want to be
Um,
married?
why do I want to be married?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, could I say out of love? Is that too cliche?
In my opinion, that's rather romantic and juvenile. I mean, you're a
Mm,
35-year-old woman with two kids.
right.
You already got two kids. There ain't no
Mm,
magic left in this. What can a man marry you get that's new? See, that's the problem. When y'all already have kids and you do all this stuff, there's nothing new with you. Men want to see their work appreciated.
mm-hmm.
And I thank you for being honest, but uh, if you don't think about making yourself a wife, the likelihood of being married is negligible. I mean, at
So
35,
what are the characteristics of a wife?
I can't get into all that right now, man. But here's the truth. Here's the reality. At 35, um, I hope you ladies start taking life more seriously because y'all don't have. I mean, it's like y'all are wasting time that you don't have. But I'm gonna move on to the next one. I don't know, man. It's not. You got to put some thought into this. And why is that important? It's important, man, because if women don't see what's starting to happen more is women are being told that they just got to show up. They just got to show up. They just got to be. All right, Galaxy 820. You need to hold the phone steady. Sean, whatever your name is, you're about to get bounced because I can't see you. Hold on. Going to the Zoom call. Hello, Grace. Ready? Unmute yourself, please. Hello. Yes. How old are you?
I am 33.
All right. So what did I get wrong?
You know, I totally agree with everything you say, all of your content. I will challenge this though. I will challenge you to say that perhaps you aren't saying everything because if you do, you'll be demonized for it. And I'm saying that to say that as a single mother, and I'm a single mother of 2 children, but I feel like we technically have a home court advantage.
I'm not saying everything. Is that what you're saying?
I believe you're not saying everything because as a single mother, we have a home court advantage, meaning that we should be learning. We should be learning patience. We should be learning how to cultivate a great household for our children. We already should come equipped with everything that we need. So I feel like we should technically have an advantage that
then why don't
a woman that is single does not, I mean, that is single with no children technically does not have.
I agree. So why don't more women with children have your mindset or in more have what you're talking about or even have your mindset?
I feel like, you know, as I've learned, it's more like the behavior will stop when it no longer serves you. And I feel that they will stop that behavior once it no longer serves them. I feel like saying that you're
okay. Let me. I like to keep things tight. You have 2 children.
I do.
Have you been married?
No.
Why aren't you married?
I'm not married because I have not chosen to be married in my lifetime. However, marriage is something that I know for a fact that I could.
What do you mean you haven't chosen? What do you mean you haven't chosen to be married?
I haven't chosen to be married because it was not something that I was interested in for quite a while.
Has someone proposed to you?
Yes.
How many times have you been engaged? Have you been engaged?
Yes, I've been engaged once.
To the person who you have your children?
No.
Okay. Was it after you had your children?
This was after I had my first child.
So your children are by different fathers?
Yes, my children are 16 and 4. So they are by 2.
Whoa.
12-year difference.
So, see, so I'm going to push back on you.
Go ahead.
You're saying that what women need to do, but as a woman who came in saying the kind of things you're saying, the women are going to say, then why can't you get it together?
Women will more than likely say that. However, I don't feel that I don't necessarily have it together. I feel that I'm at a point where I've been healing myself.
Do you have a son? Do you have a son?
I have 2 sons.
Are they involved with their fathers?
My youngest is involved with his father, yes.
But the oldest isn't?
But the oldest is not, which is none of my doing. I try to foster that relationship. And
so I gotta ask the elephant in the
Go
room.
ahead.
If you say marriage is nothing you've ever been interested in, then why are you a mother twice?
That's a very good question.
And yeah, it is, and that's what the question guys want me to ask. Because y'all come in here capping. I'm this and I'm that, and I'm not choosing to be married. I'm like, well, then, but you chose to bring two lives into the world without choosing to not be married, knowing that puts children at a statistical disadvantage. And y'all proudly do this shit.
So what I will say is my first child I had at an earlier age. My last child that I had, who was 4, that relationship ended abruptly in an assault. So that was
in an assault
of me, where I almost lost my child. So that's why the relationship ended.
All right,
but it was
but you weren't married before any of this.
No.
So even if we give you the first kid was young, you waited 12 more years and then you did the same thing unmarried. Why?
I did not want to be married. I really did not.
Why? Please help us make sense of this, because I can't understand. Men don't understand why y'all choose to be single mothers.
I'm very big on self-responsibility and accountability. So I would want to say that it was based on the way that I was brought up, but I will not use that excuse. I will actually say that was not my mindset at that time, because I just thought that we can have a great relationship, have a child, and then all of
Did you go to college?
I did.
Did you graduate?
I did.
Ma'am, this is backwards as all get out and go. We try to make sense out of chaos. A college-educated Black woman is sitting here saying that I didn't want to get married, and men just really don't understand. Y'all say this stuff like it's supposed to make sense, and just because y'all use a bunch of words.
Okay, so what I'll just honestly say to you is that at that time, I was not in a space where I had been cultivating myself, working on myself.
Then why make a baby?
Kevin Samuels just raised a really, really good point. Too often women are being very, very, very loose with their womb. I think that's what the point here is. Oftentimes, women will find themselves in positions where they are engaged in a relationship with a man, but they don't have any real intention on marrying the man or being with him long term, but they see the need to move forward and have a child with the man. For most men who hears that story, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because you would think that a woman would be more mindful of who she chooses to procreate with. It's not just having the baby that's the start and end of the story. It's who will that baby be? And will you have a person by your side supporting you to help raise the child and instill the values in the child to ensure that that child grows up to have good principles and good values and are good citizens in the world. The problem here is too often women are just procreating without giving thought. A guy you're dating, having a fling with, having a good time with, having casual encounters with may not necessarily be the best father of your child, because once you have the child, you now have to start thinking about, are we compatible? Do we share the same values to raise the child? What do I want modeled for my child? What examples do I want for my child? These things are almost thought of after the fact. In this young lady's case, she had a child. She's 33. She had a child when she was young. And then upon having the child, you know, 14 years later, she has another child with another man at 2, wasn't married to any of the men. The question becomes, well, if the first child was a mistake because you were young, why did you repeat the mistake 14 years later? Did you not learn anything from the first experience? And it seems what Kevin has exposed is that a lot of women are choosing to be single mothers because they don't want to deal with the men that they're making children for. And that's the part I think that's a problem, because, you know, once you have a child, you know, both people should have some input. Both people should have a say, and you should be selective as to who you choose to have a child with, especially because a lot of that person's traits will be a part of that child's personality and upbringing. So I think that's why you hear Kevin Samuels has some frustration, and he questions the young lady, why are you having children with a man you don't see fit in marrying? And you hear a lot of young modern women kind of choosing that option. And I think it's ultimately detrimental, because if you see the statistics, a lot of the prison population comes from single mother households. Now, that's not to say it's solely the women's fault, but it is to say that if a lot of young women are choosing to have children as young single mothers, then the probability of that being successful has not shown to be, you know, have not shown in the statistics. So let's go ahead and continue.
You can have sex. You can have sex, but why the baby?
At that time, to just be honest with you, the person that I was dealing with, which is my child's father, he was really, really great. And
he wasn't your husband. These are just words. You know how babies are made. You were 27 years.
But I did want to have a child.
Why?
I wanted to have a child with him.
You did this purposely.
I'm just being told it. Yes,
I know, and we're trying.
Yes,
and okay,
I went to him and asked him if
so if you want to get married in the future, you're looking for a stepfather who's going to accept that you were a young mother and then you chose to have a child purposefully. See, this is why the reason your relationships don't work out don't matter to men. This is why, because it's like, well, you've chosen this path, and if somebody comes along, they gotta. Okay, I
wouldn't say that my relationships. I would not say that my relationships don't. Let me change that first. I wouldn't say that I am in question as to, oh my gosh, why don't these relationships work out? Or, oh my gosh,
why don't they work out?
This particular caliber.
Why don't they work out?
I would say that they don't work out because oftentimes I don't want them to progress.
Why?
I just really don't.
Why?
I would say more than likely just, what would I say that I would not, why they do not work out? If I could just give you just a straight answer.
Yes.
Because it's my doing. It's my doing. I have found things, and it may be like a self-sabotage type of situation.
Have you had therapy?
I have been through therapy, and I am currently in therapy. I am currently working on myself. I've done a lot of work on myself that I had not done 4 years ago. I've done a lot of work that I had not done 4 years ago.
All right. So this is why it's hard for women to listen to women like you talk. You come in talking like what women should do and should do this and should do that. And I hear your spirit, but then we start getting into the selfishness of living your situation, and it totally undercuts everything you're saying, and it makes no sense to men. So do you think that there will be a point in the future where you will ever be a suitable candidate to be a wife of a man of value? He doesn't have to be high value, just a productive, competitive man.
Absolutely. I definitely feel that. Just just alone, all the work that I've done on myself, all the work I've done on myself, all of the work that I've done with my children, to build my children up, to create a home, to create a lifestyle. I feel that I definitely have a lot to offer, and
What do you have to offer to a man? What do you have to offer?
I have quite a bit. I'm kind. I'm very conscious. I take responsibility.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I challenge that one, man. I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Tell me how.
Go listen to your call.
So Kevin is asking some core questions, which are relevant questions if you really think about it. If you feel like, as a modern woman, if you feel like you are a catch for a man, what is it that he should expect to get from the relationship? What is it that you bring to the table that's going to enhance that man's life and make you the best helpmate for that man? And when asked, she said accountability. She's very accountable. Now, based on the call, the impression that I'm getting is not that this is a person who's sat down and given thought to her actions and seems to be accountable about not repeating mistakes that she's made in the past. It comes across as if she's a person who isn't as accountable, who kind of, is kind of a free spirit, which happens to be the theme nowadays. A lot of young ladies are free spirits. They float from one place to the next. They float with the wind. And, you want, as a man, I think, a sound thinking wife who is not going along with the trends and blowing in the air as a free spirit. You want somebody who's sound in her thinking, who's principled, who carries herself with some sense of self-worth. And what he's trying to say is that most men, whoever it is that you may be looking to marry, if he's going to come in and consider you as a single mother to be his wife, he has to question your past as well as your judgment. How did you make decisions? Do you have a sound mind? Are you learning from past mistakes, or do you repeat those mistakes? And if so, how can you help him? Or will you be more of a detriment to him that pulls him down as opposed to pushes him up? Those are questions that I think are valid questions that any wise man should ask a young person, a young lady that he's considering to be his wife. And what Kevin is saying, for a lot of these women, they want high value men, but they're not asking the questions, or they don't have answers to the questions that most high value men will want to know the answer to, because those men are more calculated. They are more, they're more accomplished. So they tend to be a bit more structured and they are more results oriented. So if you are kind of talking a lot and what you're saying doesn't make sense to them, then they're going to see that maybe this is not something they should take seriously. And oftentimes they don't stay in those situations. They may date you casually and have a good time, but most of those men aren't signing up for something that seems chaotic. And I think this is what Kevin is trying to expose, is that when you're talking to women who doesn't seem to have given much thought to the decisions they've made in the past and why they've made the decisions and how they can make better decisions, then it's a bit of a turnoff for men who have their head on straight.
I'm going to need you ladies to not come in talking about what women should do. Stick to yourself, because it's the only thing you can really talk about. I'm really trying to understand, and I'm going to look in the comments. I see everybody in the comment section. I see everybody in the call queue, and we're going to get there. But I'm really trying to understand, and I'm going to look at some of the ladies. Did anybody understand was, I'm trying to understand why I don't think women really get that level of selfishness is unattractive. And the answer is women like her can go make babies because there's no consequence. There's no public shame. There's no nothing. She can go have children and then think that she can still be ready for a man who's out here doing what he needs to do. And that's what my critics and detractors need to understand. The women y'all are asking men to go marry are incredibly selfish. For the most part, they are usually very selfish.
But there you have it. That was Kevin Samuels. He made some valid points. I mean, it is selfish to expect a man to go marry a woman who doesn't seem to be mindful of her, decisions and the mistakes that she's made. And it just kind of exposes the mindset here. And I think the lesson here for a lot of guys is just to pick up on the lack of consideration that these young ladies have when it comes to answering basic questions about their actions. He asked her the question, why do you think it was wise to to have children for a man you weren't married to? And her answer was kind of flippant, like, whatever, I was young. Okay, granted, the first time you had the child, you were young. But why did you choose to have a child for another man? She said the man was abusive to her. That was beating you. Why'd you choose to do that? The first time you were young, the next time you shouldn't have known better. Why did you not do something different? Marriage isn't that important. I didn't feel it was necessary. What? When a man marries a woman, he's essentially saying, I'm giving you my last name. I'm taking responsibility for you. I intend to be here for a lifetime. If he's marrying her for the right reasons, if he's marrying her for biblical, religious reasons where he's committed to the decision. So it's an indication, it's almost a deposit that person is making of themselves in the relationship. So when that man does not marry you, even though you're having that child, it's an indication that they don't really see a future with you. So if a man can't see a future with you, why would you think it'd be wise to have his child? Where in a way you're forcing him to have a future with you, but it's not because he necessarily wants one. It's just because you're choosing to have a baby that he might not want you to have, but you're going to have the baby anyway. So the question is, why would you want to choose that man to procreate for? There's so many men out there that are good men, right? It may not necessarily be a top 10 man with all the wish list items that you have, but there are good men out there that are responsible, that would be a good helper, that would be a good provider for a household, and that would be a good example, a good father for a child. Why would you not take time to assess the temperament of the man to ensure that he is the right fit in terms of a father figure for your child? In this case, him asking that question exposes the fact that this young lady didn't give much thought to that. And it's unfortunate because a lot of modern women don't give much thought to that. They choose to be single mothers because they have the assurance of the state potentially helping them. And it seems to be a trend that's predominantly in the Black community where there's just a lot of single mothers. And it seems like the marriage thing isn't as important, but it's very symbolic. And so culturally, it's a bit what our culture is kind of known for. Like a lot of, children are born in single mother situations. And I think for a lot of our young ladies, they're not seeing their value in terms of the fact that they are worthy, that they can be loved, and there are good men who want to love them and do right by them. But, their judgment is off because sometimes they choose the worst men out of a group to have children for. Any man that's beaten you, I don't think you should have children for. Let's just start there. If that man's got that personality flaw, I don't think you need to be procreating with him, because that's an anger issue that may be passed on to your child. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes cut your losses and say, okay, I missed it. But now you're about to have a child for a man who's beating you. That's crazy to me. To me, logically, that doesn't make sense. So, you know, I would encourage, and that's not to say that, you know, people don't have flaws and that they don't need to grow up, but I just feel like there's certain traits that you got to pay attention to as a young lady. As a father, I definitely want my children to be more mindful and to make wise decisions and understanding, you know, how to gravitate towards loving partners as opposed to partners that are hurting them in a way that could be detrimental to their life. So to me, I just feel like what this interview exposed is that a lot of women don't really give, modern women, I should say, don't really give much thought to what they're doing, right? They just, in a way, just caught in a web where they're making decisions and not learning from those decisions, but then they're expecting someone else to bear the burden of their poor decisions. And that's not realistic, and that's not how life works. That being said, that's it for me on this particular topic, but I encourage you to like and subscribe and stay connected to the show and tell me what you think about the matter. Do you agree with my point of view? Do you disagree with my point of view or Kevin's point of view or some of the points that he raised? Weigh in, like and subscribe, and stay connected. It's yours truly, Mr. B, signing off. Until we speak again, be well. God bless.